Alright, so I'm going to do a video here where I create an income statement using a spreadsheet. I'm going to use some formulas, I'm going to do a bit of formatting and stuff. Now, you haven't got my head in here because there's just not enough room on the screen. This is a question from your textbook. It's 2.17. We're going to turn that, now exercise, and I'm going to name that down here. I'll just show you down here. I'm going to name that exercise 2.17. I expect you guys to name those down the bottom as well because you're going to do a bunch of them. You want to be able to refer back to them. Okay, so first thing you need to do is merge these cells because you want to put a title in here. Income statement. And while you're at, we'll do that in a minute. Okay, so I've merged those cells. I've merged these cells. Now we need to say who the statement was. I can't remember who it was, so I'm just going to say Bob Co. And you also need to put the date here. And the words that we're going to use never change. For the year ended 30 June and whatever year it is, 2000. Let's say last year, 2015. Now, you want them all centered. So just go up here to where it says centered. And that's how we start our thing. We can even bold them up. Okay, so I'm just going to skip a line here and jump straight into it. Now, they always start the same. Sales less sales returns less cost of goods sold. Now, that's pretty straightforward. We've really just got to put in some numbers here. I'm having some trouble with my typing. I'm going to pause it. I'm going to type some numbers in. So there's my sales returns, which come from my question. Now I need to do my first formula. Equals says I want to do a formula. This cell, B5, minus this cell, B6, and that'll give us this minus this. Now after that, we want to get rid of our cost of goods sold. So cost of goods sold, 669847. And we're doing essentially the same formula again, equals this minus this. And this number here is important. It's our gross profit. Now I might even bold that. People are interested in gross profit, so I'll just click bold here. And I'll underline this with this tool here. Actually, we shouldn't underline it. We should do it like proper maths. We should do it like a line on the top. Okay, so it should look something of, stuff that up, haven't I? Okay, get rid of all the lines and then just do a line on the top. Okay, there's our first section of it. Now we need to add additional revenues. So you really need to be careful here because you need to go through all of this and find your revenues. So we've got commission revenue there. Rent revenue here. Okay, that's all I can see there. So we're going to add other revenue, and that's going to be commission revenue, and it's also going to be rent revenue, and we're going to add those in there. Now the way that we're going to add them, there's two ways you can do it. I'm going to do this is equal to this plus this. Okay, and that gives us that number, and then we need to add that number to that number. So it's going to be equal to this plus this. Okay, and it's a good idea to put one of those lines in there again. Okay, so far we've done sales, less sales returns, less cost of goods sold to give us our gross profit. Now we've added our other revenues. Now we need to less expenses. We need to subtract all of our expenses here. And this is where things are going to get tricky because you're going to have to go through all this list and find your expenses and expenses only. Sales, no. Accounts payable, liability, sales return. That's an expense, but we've already done it. Mortgage, no. That's a liability. Commission, revenue, no. Rates. Rates, yes. Land and building, no. That's an asset. Printing, yes. Bank overdraft, no, that's a liability. Cost of goods sold, we've already done that. Delivery vehicles, that's an asset. Repairs and maintenance. Okay, that looks like a expense. Now it's an expense. All of these things are expenses because you got rid of money, but you haven't got any, like you haven't received an asset in return. Okay, vehicle repairs. There's another one. Oh, can't type. Drawings. That's a owner's equity. GST clearing. Okay, let's think about what GST clearing is. GST clearing is either a liability to the ATO, or in some cases it's an asset because the ATO owes you money. GST clearing is kind of like an accounts receivable or an accounts payable, but it's an accounts receivable or payable to the ATO. So it's definitely not an expense. Accounts receivable, no. Rent revenue, no. Inventories, no. Cost of brochures. You can't call brochures an asset really, so that must be a expense. Loss from theft. Wages, and that's the big one. Shares, no. Capital, no. Commission, expense. Furniture and electricity. Furniture was an asset. Electricity, however, is an expense. Now, this is going to be boring. I'm going to put numbers in here, so I'm not going to make you watch that. Okay, so we've got all of our numbers entered in. Now we need to add all of our expenses up. Now, if we add up all of our expenses, the easiest way to do this is equals sum. Sum means add up. Bracket. Highlight all of the things you want to add up, and then close that up. Okay, that adds up all of our stuff, all of our expenses. So now we have our revenue, and we have our expenses. We subtract one from the other, and that will give us our net profit. Net profit. Let's do it in capitals, because people care about net profit. That's a big deal. Now that's going to be equal to this number minus this number. And let's make sure that we finish off with a dollar sign. Oops. I know that we can set that dollar sign. We'll do that. Okay, so we can format it as a dollar sign. Here is more formats. Australian dollars. Okay, looks good. I might just bold it as well and put a line above and below it. It's a very important number, so we've got to give it a bit of respect here. Okay, that's it. That's the end of it. It's going to look something like this now. And using that, you should be able to make a bunch of decisions about your business. So there's the way to do it. If you want to be really pedantic, you can italicize the lesses and adds. That's standard accounting stuff. Okay, that's it. That's an income statement using a spreadsheet.